What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video in the Road to 1 Million series where I document our journey from zero to $1 million in revenue in real estate, wholesaling, and with our software. So today, excuse the screech of my chair. This thing's busted as fuck. But today, I wanted to talk about something that is relevant to what we're doing, per usual. And so, a little context on this: we're doing a lot of market research right now for the software. I'm just gonna put this right down. And so I'm setting up all these informational interviews, if you want to call it. I'm pitching it as like a school project research thing, which it is. It is that, but it's mostly just market research at the end of the day. So our first one is tomorrow. Our first couple actually, and we're like planning out like what to say, and it made me think about the most important elements, like the largest milestones that we've achieved, and the biggest levers that you can have in a business, and that is your ability to communicate properly with people. Now, the fundamentals of the business, or not the fundamentals, but like the core product or the service that you provide, that is a skill thing, but that's easy to outsource. It's easy to acquire. In some cases, it's easy to outsource in other cases. And a lot of times, though, those people who are super good, say you have a super good software engineer, he may not be the best communicator. So if you have the ability to communicate somewhat effectively, and when I say the bar is low, I mean it's pretty fucking low. If you can use proper grammar in an email, and you can sound somewhat professional, and there's no typos, and you do that 90% of the time, and you are consistent with it, you're going to be successful in promoting your business and in growing your business and learning more things. For example, some of our biggest breaks have come from simply communicating about the confidence that we have in ourselves. So our first client ever with our marketing business, with our web development business, they knew that they were our first client, but we were like, listen, XYZ this, we just sold ourselves really well. And that is far more valuable than being able to go in and be like, all right, well, if you look at the divs here and then the coloring there and the way that we're going to do this layout, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. They don't care. They just want you to get them results. And so I'm saying this in a sales context, but it's not necessarily always for sales, because that's kind of what I'm learning right now is you can put a sales twist on everything, but it's not necessarily you selling something for money. So if you can sell an idea, if you can sell people like an ego boost, if you sell people status, so that's what I'm doing right now. The pitch is something like, so I come in, I'm like, oh, I'm a student at XYZ, blah, 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 blah. I have this project, whatever. But then you want to play into it. You want to like boost their ego a little bit. So I was like, oh, I saw that you're a successful investor in the area. I was wondering if I could have 10, 15 minutes of your time to go over XYZ, whatever. So you're not always selling. I'm not always asking them, hey, buy my product, buy my service, that sort of thing. That skill is extremely valuable, and I'm not good at it. We've only been in business for a little over a year. However, I think that's one of my more natural strong suits. And so I want to play into that more and more as we expand it, as we scale. What's frustrating about this, and that's inevitable, is that you have to do the boring shit to get it off the ground. The 0 to 1 in entrepreneurship just sucks no matter what. Like, you have to just sit there and do the things that you can outsource for pennies on the dollar to Pakistan or to India, or you can hire a really good guy in America to do it really well. But you just have to do it at the start because you have no fucking money. And the ability to communicate, though, is much more important in the future. And this is kind of what I've found in my personal life as well. But most conflicts that you have, most issues that you have with people who are somewhat intelligent are rarely an ideological difference. It is sometimes, but mostly not. Most of the time, not. It's simply a communication error. And so if you can be efficient in communicating ideas, how you feel, understanding how other people feel about a certain thing, because the reality of something and the perception of something are two very different things. And so if you can minimize the gap between your perception of something and someone else's perception of something, you will be successful in your personal life, but also in business. And so this is what we're going to try to do over the next couple of weeks, is we're going to try to understand people's perception of the market and their problems and their needs, understand the effort that they feel like that they put into to try to solve this problem. For some people, they may have spent $5 on a shitty ebook. They're like, oh, I read all this book. They read a page on how to solve my dispositions issues. And someone else who has paid for 15 softwares and spends tens of thousands of dollars. Both of them may say, oh, I've put in a lot of work, but that's just perception and how they feel about it. And so then that determines the marketing. It determines how you position your product and that sort of thing. But let's see what else. Yes. So also, if you are not a naturally good communicator, which nobody is perfect, but some people may enjoy the pursuit of becoming better more than others, make sure that your co-founder is. Because if you have two people who can't sell an idea, no matter how, unless it's literally the next Google, but even then, it's not going to be as successful as Google. You're going to struggle significantly. So if that's not you, that's fine. Make sure that you have someone on your team who is, and then you can just be that technical guy who just nails everything and make sure the product that you're selling to people is perfect and that the ideas that you're putting out to people are rock solid tight. But that's all I've got for today. No new revenue. Oh, actually, we're about to get like a couple $100, I mean, like 700, 800, so like barely anything. But it's nice little water bill stimmy from the close that we had last month on that property, because it was like prorated. They were all like, oh, the seller was like on some bullshit, and then the buyer was like, well, I'm not going to pay his water bill. And I was like, well, whatever. So we just took the cost. We said we collected from the tenant. So finally, the tenant's paying up. But that's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think about the communication that you have and your ability to do that. And if you've started a business or anything like that, leave a comment down below. If not, also drop a comment. I can help you out. See ya.